So let's walk the Paris 2024 eventing cross country course together and see what we got going. All right, so right off the bat, you've got a nice ramp. It's all the first couple fences I expect are to get into a rhythm and to get into a flow. Cross country is all about how quickly you can get into your horse's rhythm when it comes to cross country jumping, meaning what is the biggest step that you can run on that you can also jump from and be adjustable in between. Open oxer, this is a nice setup fence for getting into that gallop step and getting comfortable jumping from that eye. It's different than stadium jumping. Oh my god, that would be so pretty to gallop through. I mean, obviously no one's allowed to take like a selfie stick going through there, but I hope somebody does like a GoPro of that. That's so awesome. All right, so it looks like we have a table here, but standard. And again, this is one of those gallop fences to help get you into cross-country mode and be prepared for when the fences get more technical. I am sure from this angle that fence is a lot bigger than it looks in this picture. As you can see, those people in the ditch there, like that's a deep ditch, but usually those brush fences are actually a lot taller. They're like they look deceptively, not that anybody would ever say, oh, these fences look small, but the brush fences usually try to give an illusion of being a lot bigger, and I can imagine that that ditch is going to call some horses out, because there are some horses, like I had this one horse that every time we would go jump like a ditch in anything, and he would like look down like, oh my god. All right, so it looks like you jump in, there's like that log into the water, and then my guess is that you do a right-hand turn to that corner there. And that's a pretty significant combination for your first fence, because you've got water and a corner in the water. Obviously, this is the Olympic level, so everybody expects these fences to be hard. But when it comes to riding that and getting your horse into a rhythm, having to jump into the water and then having your first combination be in water, that's an extra asterisk on the first combination. So 7A is an up bank. And then I think there's a vertical at the top there. This up bank is just a little, like optically when you look at it, not that I think the horses aren't going to read it, but just like it's like an up bank, and then there's like the slant. Just gives kind of I had to do a double take on it because I was like, what is the question? So, up bank though, and looks like you go straight up, and there looks to be maybe a frangible vertical at the top there. Oh, ask and you shall receive. Here's that. It does look frangible. It looks like there's it does look like in the back there, that fence looks like it's facing a different direction, so that's probably an option. All right, so that looks like a couch. That looks literally comfortable, but that's probably a really wide fence. That couch, like that looks like something I could like lay on and I'd be fine, and I'm like 5'2". All right, so we've got an open oxer. It's kind of square, like normally open oxers are like the round wood. This one's a little square, but those open oxers are. They always are really nice. They ride kind of like tables in the sense that you can really ride them with power. You don't have to, like the frangibles, you have to ride a bit more, I'm not going to say cautious, but you have to ride with a bit more purpose, because if they catch a frangible, then it's very easy to, get those points against you. And so I like those open oxers, because even if they are frangible, you can ride them a bit more like tables and ride them a bit more aggressive. So it was funny, I actually saw a comment about this fence where people were like, I don't know how the horse is gonna read this. But honestly, when it comes to jumping with horses, it's about picking your line and sticking to it, and then figuring out where you need to take off. And there's obviously going to be a place for them to take off and to land. And then the challenge is obviously when, there's a lot to look at, what are you looking at? That's the real question. But as you can see right there, there is that ditch underneath, but there's a very clear line that you go across it. All right, so this is a mess of stuff. What am I looking at? So this looks like a double corner line. So, it looks like there's options. So I can see this corner over here, and then I can see this corner here. So it looks like 2 corners, and one is coming into the water, and then the other one's in the water. And then since there's like kind of sets of fences, there might also be a third one. Solid table. That's probably a pretty deceptively tall fence, but I've always liked those rounder fences. They tend to create a better jump for your horse. They ride a bit more, they ride just smoothly, and I think it's because of the shape. It encourages the horse to jump around. Looks like a picnic table, and that's probably a pretty wide table. I hope somebody rides this course with a GoPro, because this is really pretty. I mean, all the fences are pretty too, but some of these like gallop stretches are just like, I'd be all like scenic route. So down bank and down bank, down bank. So down bank, and then it looks like there are two skinny chevrons, but probably an option here. The nice part about down banks into combinations is down banks, as long as down banks have forward momentum, and they tend to help you ride into skinnies. The only challenge is if you have a horse like my horse that tends to launch off down banks. No matter how many down banks he's done, we always tend to just land on the other side of the world, and so it can kind of mess up the striding. But other than that, I've always liked riding down banks to combinations, because there's like this forward momentum that you naturally get from jumping downhill. It looks like a picket fence. That's cool. This is probably wider than it looks. Not that any of these fences again look small, but it's probably a lot wider with that brush than it looks from this angle. That's a cool fence. That's cool. And I like that there's a lot of talk nowadays about, keyholes, and how there's a lot of horses that, they duck because they don't know if there's enough space for their head. There's always plenty of space. But you can't explain it to a horse. And so sometimes it just creates like a not great jump, because they're trying not to hit their head. But this is a cool idea because it's the antlers, and so like it's got the illusion of the keyhole without actually being the keyhole. So it's like a skinny pile of wood. That thing looks wide though. I wonder if I'm looking at the same thing from the other side, or if this is a combination of skinny, wide piles of wood. All right, we got a combination here. So this is probably a frangible vertical, and it looks like you ride down into a valley, and there's a skin. Terrain's always tricky because you have to make sure that you don't kill the power, but that you have enough power to do what you need to do. But then also you can't just run like a banshee down a hill. And then there's this box. Everybody try not to get distracted by the beautiful pond going on. All right, so that looks quite wide. So one of the things I've always liked about cross country is there is some strategy to like jumping on one side of the fence versus the other side of the fence, and if you can like kind of like hug turns and do certain things like that to cut time. There's a lot of strategy involved with riding cross country to make time and do all these things, While dressage is about doing the moves all the same way and everybody's being judged by the standard, cross country is a bit more of a free-for-all. It's, you got to get to the other side. You got to get to the other side the first time. No knocking flags, no knocking frangibles, but otherwise, anything goes. So that looks like a combination. There's some water, but it looks like you jump over the it looks kind of like a squirrel with the brush, and then you come up and there's that open corner. Open corners is kind of funny because when you ride an open corner, it's always kind of more of a mental game than anything else, because it's the same as everything else, but the open part of the corner is always just a little like, you gotta just shut that part off of your brain that goes, it's different. Triple bar. It was funny, the last time I was walking a course, I said, I was like, I love riding triple bars. I've always liked riding triple bars. I'm not sure why. Like, I really couldn't explain it to you. And one of the people I was walking the course with was like, I hate triple bars, but it's, you know, it's kind of one of those fences that you either love it or you hate it. And I've always liked it because it's a fence that you can ride a bit more aggressively to, and it tends to create kind of a nice jump because you have to jump across it because it's, you know, it creates width without even really trying because there's 3 bars. So I'm pretty sure that's a corner, but just that skinny little wedge. The thing as you go up the levels is everything gets so much more precise. Like, the line you have to ride on is the margin for error becomes, you know, almost zero. And, you know, obviously when it comes to knocking flags and stuff, it's whether or not your horse got the shoulders like over the fence. And so flags aren't the worst thing in the world, but that accuracy piece becomes absolutely crucial and non-negotiable the higher you go up the levels. This is Los Angeles 28, you know. Marketing. You can never fault marketers for not being prepared. And that's it. I don't know if that's the last fence, but otherwise, that course actually looks like really fun. It's a solid test of, you know, endurance and like technical questions. Also the views, honestly, that's one of the prettiest cross-country courses I've ever gone around. I would try not to get distracted by all the sights as I was going through it, but that would, you know, the ambiance of that, you know, that is something that I would love to vicariously live. So I hope somebody wears a GoPro because I would love to ride along with somebody riding this course just to see all the sights. Like, it's literally like a like you need like a tour bus just to run around this cross country course because it's so pretty. But anyway, that looks like a really fun course. It looks like an awesome combination of challenge and technicality, and I'm really excited to watch all the horses run tomorrow. And I don't know what they're going to show us the most of on the broadcast. I hope I at least get to see one horse jump the big antlers, because that was one of the coolest fences. But comment down below which fence was your favorite, which one you want to watch everybody jump. Fingers crossed for everybody. See you on the next one.
Deixa sua bunda ardendo. Deixa sua bunda ardendo. Toma sua safada, fica sua safada, vai.